Okay. Okay, we got disconnected, so I wanted to still pick up where we left off. We were just using Microsoft Word, and we had just started talking about left aligning, right aligning, and centering our words on the page. So if we are finished aligning, and let's say we have a grocery store list, and let's say we have 1, we need bread, 2, we need milk, 3, we need eggs. Okay, it automatically put an indent in 1, 2, 3. Every time I hit enter, there was a new number that appeared. If I hit enter here, a new number appears. I can backspace and get rid of it. All right, if I decided that I don't want a numeric list, I want a bulleted list. Right now the numeric list is highlighted, but I can unhighlight it by selecting the bulleted list. And you can go back and forth and so forth and make them like different fonts. You can put a fancy bullet instead of just a regular bullet by using the drop-down arrow located beside of the different options. Okay, so they also have a shading feature under the paragraph group. We can shade the background. Let's shade it something pinky. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And this is different than your highlighting feature because it not only doesn't just highlight the word, it highlights the whole row. And also under your highlighting feature, you only have these set colors you can use, but under the shading, under the paragraph, you have the full theme colors, and so it can ask for a specific color that you can change it to, okay? Also, on accident, I hit the border button here. You can choose to give your lines borders. So that's pretty a neat feature. And let's say we want to do it up here and give this a border. And to have one down here, to get rid of it, I'd have to use the drop down arrow and it'd say no border. Okay. And I want this one to be bottom border only. So let's see what we can do here. No border. Alright, so it's going to be difficult, but I'm just going to hit the back button. Alright, and then come back up here and hit the bottom border. That is really being difficult. So we'll just leave it as is, okay? Alright, so we also have the styles features over here that we can change. So let's say that I didn't feel like making this chiller size 28 in a new font. I could just come over here to the title and it would make a title for me. Or if I say, well, this is really a subtitle, it will change the font according to the theme. Alright, lastly on the Home tab, but not least important, is the clipboard. Under the clipboard, right now, if I click the expand button here, there's nothing because I haven't copied or pasted anything. But if I want to get rid of my grocery store list, I can select it, right click, and cut. When I cut that, it shows up on my clipboard, and now I have that information available to put back anytime I want to. If I were to highlight this and hit delete, it would be deleted for good unless I use my back button and I have it hit saved in between the time I use my back button and the time I deleted it. Then I could probably recover it. But otherwise, it wouldn't be there. If I hit save, I deleted something I wasn't supposed to and hit save, I can't hit the back button. It won't be recovered. But if I hit cut, it would still be available on the clipboard. Okay, let's see. So we talked about the clipboard. If I copy something, right click and then copy. It's just like if I take a paper to the copy machine. I put an original in and I get back the original and the copy. I have both. So if I copy here, I get one on the clipboard and one on the regular document. I have two. If I cut, like I did the grocery store list, it's just like if I had a piece of paper and I cut something out. It's no longer on the original, but I do have it available on the clipboard if I want to add it back. All right. So that's your clipboard features, very, very useful, and you can X out to get more room on your page, and to expand it, you hit the expand button at the right-hand corner. All right, so that is that. Also, before we leave, I did forget to go over the paragraph spacing. To change paragraph spacings, you can right-click on your paragraph and click paragraph, or you can use the expand button in the bottom of your paragraph, And you can change your line spacings by following down to your line spacing and change it to single or double or whatever. We'll do double this time. Don't add a space between paragraphs, it needs to be checked. Hit OK, and you can see now that there's a larger space in between each of the lines I selected. So if I want to make it single, just for the sake of doing it, we could hit the undo button because that's the way it was before, but to show you the process again, we'll go to the expand button. Your paragraph dialog box appears. You would go down to line spacing, single, make sure this is checked, click OK, and it makes your spacing single now. Okay, so that is your home tab. Now under your insert tab, there are a few things that are important under this too. Probably the most important one would be your pictures tab. Okay, your pictures here, this comes from your computer and things you have already on your computer. If you do online pictures, you can do clip art. Office.com clip art or Bing clip art. Let's say we want to do a graduation cap. Okay, look at all these options. There are tons of options that we can use. Oops, I don't know what just happened. We'll have to hit X. Word. Okay, let's click on this. All right, a very large picture appeared. I don't want it to be that big, so what I can do is these little dots on the edges, I can take the corner of them and shrink it to be the size that I need it to be. And another cool thing is you can tilt it. Ooh, now your picture is tilted. All right, and if you notice, when your arrow shows the north, east, southwest arrows, that means it's able to be moved. If you click on that and keep it selected, you can move it above wherever you want to move it to. Okay. One thing is, if I click outside of the picture, there are no longer those little white dots on the outside, and now I don't have a formatting picture tab up here. But if I click on the picture, those dots reappear, and now I have a formatting tools format tab that I can now change. Like, see, the font is kind of funky over here. I can do wrap text in a tight feature. I liked the square. That was kind of cool. Okay, so that puts it closer to the picture and not as awkward as it was just a second ago. So you can kind of play. If you click on the picture, that's when it appears. If you're outside of the picture, it's not nowhere to be found. So you have to click on it to be able to use that picture tools formatting tab. Okay, we were under insert. Another thing that I think is really neat is the ability to insert a shape. So let's insert under the stars and banners, let's do one of these. Again, if you leave your cursor sitting on one of them, it will tell you what shape it is. That's a down arrow. This weird looking arrow over here is called a right arrow callout. I wouldn't have known that had I not put my cursor on it. But I want to use this banner here, the down ribbon. So I have selected it, but it didn't appear anywhere. But I have this weird looking cross kind of cursor, but so I can select where this banner goes. All right, so I want it there, and what I want to do is move it up. Okay, and let's move this font. Okay, so it's just a little bit playing around. I can make it bigger, fill the whole page, and there it is. Okay. So now I have a banner on my page. So that's really cool because that was under insert and I inserted a shape. You can also insert smart art and charts. If I want to insert a pie chart and make it a 3D pie chart, I can do that and click OK. And looky here, I have first quarter sales, second quarter sales. And if I hate this, like I kind of do, I can just hit the back arrow button and it's gone. I don't have to worry about it. Also, let's say I want to write on top of this banner. Insert a text box. And you can put it on different areas. You can even draw a text box. That's really what I wanted to do. And then say ABC. All right. And then align it in the center. Right. Home, center. Okay. So now we have a text box in the middle of our ribbon. Let's hit undo once. Okay, there we are. Doesn't look half bad, just to be playing around. Okay, so those are some of the things on your insert tab. Pictures, shapes. Really, you'll probably stay in the illustrations tab over here. Okay, if we go to the design tab, you will be using the theme tab. A lot of your instructions tell you to choose a different theme. So whatever theme they tell you to use, you can scroll down and see a few more you would use. What a theme is just a set of colors, a set of designs that are very similar. So if I use the Berlin theme, see my ribbon changed to a different color, and the colors are used throughout the scheme changed as well. So it's just a theme of colors and accents. Okay, so if we go to the page layout, we have margins over here and also orientation. If I change the margins, I can change them to a narrow margin, and you can see half of my ribbon is missing now because the margins are so narrow. When you go to print it, it's not going to be more or less centered on the page. It's going to go all the way to the end. So I probably want it to be a normal margin. However, if I am writing a letter, I want it to be a custom margin and have a 2-inch top margin because I don't want my date to overlap with my company letterhead. So I would probably want a 2-inch top margin, everything else to be normal. Okay, so that's kind of something to do with margins, and the orientation is portrait or landscape. The default is portrait. All that is like how, if we write a letter, how we expect a letter to be. It's long, and then the short side is horizontal, and the long side is vertical. If I do it landscape, then the long side is horizontal and the short side is vertical. Okay, let's go back to portrait size. Okay, so under our reference tab, this is a very good tab, especially for your research papers that you'll be doing. Inserting a footnote is really when you're going to explain something further. So let's say that I want the bread to be handmade bread or something, or bread, the definition of bread is yeast and water and whatever else the definition says bread is. I have no idea. But whatever it would say, you could use your footnote to explain it further. But a citation is where you found it. So let's say you looked up where bread was. You're going to insert the citation as a new source, and you're going to say, okay, well, was it a book? Was it a website? Where did you find it? Well, let's say we actually found it from a book. The author, we'll say is, why not? Let's make me the author. The title was, What is Bread? It was written this very moment. And there definitely was no publisher. Well, there probably is if it's a book, but CBS publisher. Okay, but fill out as much as you know. If you don't know what city, don't worry about it. Don't put the city. Okay, we have a new source. And now beside of bread, we have the author and the year documented. It's the citation, okay? All right, let's do another one. Let's say that under, let's say it wasn't eggs. Let's say that this says hypochondriac. And let's say that you found that this is a symptom in grocery store shoppers. So you would go to insert a citation, add another new source, and let's say you found it at the owl@purdue.com. Oh, we need to change our source from book to website. The author was, again, this girl, Shelley Smith. Who is she? Name of the webpage, owl@Purdue. Name of the website, we'll say Purdue, year 2014, April, and just fill out as much as you know. And we'll say, we'll do the URL, owl@purdue.com/this isn't real, just an example. Okay. And so now we have, again, the citation entered at the end. You didn't have to figure out what you put first, the year or the date or the title. It does it for you. So you have your footnote, but you also have your citations within your paper. At the end of your paper, you're going to have a reference page to know exactly where your cites come from. So instead of having to research and figure out what goes where and how it goes, you can just come up here to your bibliography page and say, okay, make me a bibliography page. Everything that you entered in those new sources when you went to insert a citation and make a new source is put into your reference page or your works cited page, cited page, or your bibliography page. They figure out where you put the date or the year or the page number. They did it for you. That is beautiful. I can remember spending way too much time putting all that information together for different research papers, but now it does it for you. Another thing to keep in mind is under the bibliography page, it says bibliography, references, or works cited. They're all the same thing, just a different title. Okay, so that's your references that are very, very useful for your research papers that you'll be doing in all your classes. Also, we have under the review tab, the spelling and grammar check. I don't know if you noticed, but I spelled definition wrong a few seconds ago. Let's see if I can re-spell it wrong. Definition, let's spell it like that. Okay, when I spell it wrong, a little red squiggly line appears underneath of it. If you right click on it, it will give you a suggestion. Now be careful because spelling and grammar check is not always right, and sometimes it will tell you that a word is spelled wrong and it isn't, or you might use the wrong form of a word, okay? So be sure that you still proof your own paper even though you've used spelling and grammar check. Another neat feature is you can define a word. If you don't know what a word is, you can say, okay, what is bread? Define, and it will pull up what Merriam-Webster dictionary for you and find the definition for you. Most of the time, I don't go to the review tab to do this. I just right-click on the word and then choose define. So that's kind of a neat feature. Also, I'm going to exit out of that because, okay, let's say that I need a different word for bread. So I highlight it, right-click on it, and I can choose synonyms. Dough is another option. Let's use it. I can say dough instead of bread. Okay, so if you ever are running out of word ideas, use that synonym. All right, so that's really a very quick track overview for Microsoft Word. I hope this is helpful. And if you have any questions, you can message me on Moodle at Shelly Smith or give me a call at the Beckley campus. Okay, hope everybody's doing well, and let me know if you need anything.